My wife insisted, let's take separate cars to my parents' anniversary party. On the way, my 12-year-old son whispered, Dad, Mom doesn't know I found this. What happened next shattered everything. My name is Michael Turner. I'm 35-year-old. Married to my wife, Samantha. I stood by the window, watching the sun sink behind the rooftops. The evening light slanted across the floorboards, touching the edges of a life that no longer felt like my own. I could hear the soft hum of the bathroom fan down the hall, the clink of perfume bottles, little sounds that filled the silence between them. She kissed me like she always did, mechanical, precise, a gesture worn thin by repetition. There was no heat, no hesitation, just the motion of lips meeting because that's what people in our position were supposed to do. Then she turned away, smoothing the fabric of her dress in the mirror, her reflection wearing that distant look she thought I didn't notice. We'll take separate cars, she said casually, too casually, in case you want to leave early. I didn't argue. I just nodded, because that's what she expected. Samantha slipped on her heels without meeting my eyes. Her movements were graceful, practiced, like someone who had been living on autopilot for far too long. The air between us felt heavy. We hadn't said a word, and neither of us wanted to admit to the choices we'd made. I buckled our son into the passenger seat. He looked at me in that quiet way he always did, studying my face like a sky before a storm, searching for signs of weather I didn't want to name. We pulled out of the driveway. She was already gone. Halfway through the drive, he leaned in close. His voice was barely a whisper, the kind kids use when they know something is wrong but can't quite name it. Dad, Mom doesn't know I found this. He opened his fist. Resting there was a hotel key card, white plastic, the number 220 scrawled in black pen. Beneath it, a name, Ethan. For a moment, I kept my eyes on the road, the lines on the asphalt blurring as something sharp pressed against my chest from the inside. My son's hand trembled slightly, the card resting in his small palm like proof of a secret too heavy for him to carry. Where did you find this? I asked, my voice tighter than I intended. In her purse, he whispered. Yesterday. She was on the phone with someone. I think it was him. The name on the card burned into my memory, Ethan. It didn't belong to anyone we knew. At least, I didn't think it did. I wanted to ask 100 questions, but my son was watching me, his wide eyes waiting for a reaction I couldn't give him. Not yet. We drove the rest of the way in silence, the key card sitting in the cup holder between us like a third passenger neither of us wanted there. When we finally pulled up to the restaurant, Samantha's car was already parked outside, its sleek silver frame catching the last of the daylight. Through the front windows, I could see her laughing with someone on her phone before stepping inside like nothing was wrong. My son glanced at me. Dad, what are you gonna do? I didn't answer. Not yet. Because first, I needed to know who Ethan was. The hotel was nothing special. Clean, anonymous, the kind of place you don't look anyone in the eye. I parked around the back, left the car running. Stay here, I told him, I'll be right back. No questions. Just a nod. The elevator smelled like bleach and bad choices. The red numbers ticked upward like a countdown. Second floor, left turn, room 220. I knocked once. Silence, then a click. The door opened 2 inches, then stopped. A man stood there, tall, shirt half-buttoned, bare feet on the carpet. Behind him, her perfume, her laugh, her silhouette blurred by the light through the hotel curtains. He looked at me like I was nobody, maybe a delivery guy, maybe just a wrong door. Then he saw my eyes. And he froze. She called from the bed, Ethan. Who is it? My name isn't Ethan. It never was. I stood there in the hallway, the hum of the ice machine at the far end buzzing like a fly in my skull. My fists stayed at my sides, fingers curled tight enough to hurt. From inside the room, I heard muffled voices. Her, frantic now, low and sharp. Him, calmer, like someone trying to talk down a bomb he didn't even realize was ticking. I pictured her sitting up on that bed, hair messy, skin flushed, the sheets tangled around her legs. The same woman who used to kiss me like the world was ending. My jaw locked. The old part of me, the one that might have kicked the door in, wanted blood, wanted answers, wanted to burn the whole place down. But another part of me, the one that had been dying slowly for years, just felt empty. Footsteps echoed down the hall. A maid pushing a cart. She glanced at me, then at the door, then back at me again. I turned away before she could see my face. I walked back through the lobby like a man underwater, everything muted. The TV in the corner, the receptionist typing behind the desk, the couple laughing near the vending machine. Outside, my son was waiting in the car, his small face pressed to the glass. His eyes lit up when he saw me, but they dimmed just as fast when he read my expression. Was she there? He asked quietly as I slid into the driver's seat. I started the car. The engine rumbled. The hotel sign glowed behind us in the rearview mirror like a warning we hadn't heeded. She was there, I said finally. My voice didn't sound like mine. We drove off without another word. The night stretched ahead, wide and dark and full of things I wasn't ready to face. That night, I said nothing, not at dinner, not in bed. She smiled like she always did. Like nothing happened. Like everything had. She told me about her parents' party, her mother's new dress, her father's toast, describing it all like she'd been there hours. I nodded at the right moments, but in my head, I was seeing the wallpaper in room 220. The way the curtains breathed when the window was open. I knew exactly how many rings she took off before lying down. The next morning, I checked her messages. She didn't know I'd cloned her phone last year, just in case. Ethan careful, burner numbers, hidden folders, but no one is that careful forever. Their first meeting was 6 months ago. A conference, of course. A few drinks. Long conversations about me. She told him I was distant, cold, disconnected. She wasn't wrong. I had stopped being warm the day I stopped trusting her. The thing about betrayal is, it doesn't start in the bed. It starts in the pauses between conversations, in the way a person looks at their phone instead of your face. By the time she slipped between someone else's sheets, I'd already been losing her for years. I sat there in the dim light of the kitchen, scrolling through every text, every picture, every secret she thought was safe. The messages weren't romantic, not at first. Just two people laughing about long workdays, about late flights and hotel coffee. But then came the late-night calls, the wish-you-were-here messages, the pictures that left no doubt. She didn't delete everything. Maybe she thought I would never look. Maybe she didn't care if I did. One message stopped me cold. We need to talk. Not here. He's starting to notice. I stared at the timestamp. 2 weeks ago. Starting to notice. I looked at her then, sleeping in our bed like nothing had cracked open between us. Her phone on the nightstand, the faint rise and fall of her chest under the blankets. I wondered how long she'd been planning for me to find out. If she'd rehearsed her apologies, her excuses, the way she'd cry when the truth finally came out. But I wasn't going to give her that scene. Not yet. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted the truth or revenge. I kept digging. More texts, photo, dates, locations. A private album where they stored things that weren't meant to be seen. Then came the thought I'd been avoiding. One simple test. A DNA kit. One swab from my son, one from me. 3 days of waiting. 3 days of pretending to sleep. The envelope came in a plain package, white, unassuming, like truth often is. Probability of paternity, 0%. I read it again and again, and again. Then I folded it, slid it into my jacket pocket like a loaded gun. That night, I made her favorite dinner. Lit candles, played the music she liked. She smiled like she'd won something. After dessert, I slid the envelope across the table. No words. She opened it. Her hands shook. Her lips parted. I can explain, she whispered. I nodded, not in agreement, but in acknowledgement of sound. She reached for my hand. I pulled it back. I didn't shout, I didn't curse. I slid my phone across the table. Open to the thread with Ethan. Photos, dates, locations. Her face crumbled in real time. I saw you, I said finally. One wrong turn. That's all it took. You told me you're going to parent anniversary, but you went to a hotel instead. She started crying. But crying isn't remorse. It's panic dressed in pity. I didn't mean for this to happen, she said. You meant it every time you lied. She stood, reached for me again. I stepped back. He's not mine, I said. But I'll raise him like he is, because you don't deserve him. She collapsed into the chair, like something cut loose. I left. No slammed doors, no threats. Just silence. My son was on the porch steps when I got home, still holding the hotel key card. I took it from his hand, slipped it into my pocket. He didn't ask. We sat in silence as the sun dipped behind the houses. I put my arm around him. He leaned into me. His not my blood, but his mine. The days that followed were quiet, too quiet. She tried calling at first, long voicemails about mistakes and second chances, about how she'd fix everything if I just came home. I didn't answer. Instead, I started collecting things, bank statements, credit card charges, copies of the prenup she thought I'd forgotten about. Ethan had sent her money too, hotel rooms, weekend trips, a whole second life paid for with the kind of care she swore I'd never given her. And I found him. Not just his number. His job, his wife, his kids. Oh, yes, Ethan had a family of his own. I didn't go after him right away. Revenge wasn't rage anymore. It was patience dressed in ice water. One night, while my son slept in the next room, I sat at the kitchen table drafting emails, anonymous ones, with photos attached. Room 220. Dates, messages. Enough evidence to crack open his perfect suburban life like glass under a hammer. His wife deserved to know. And when she did, I made sure the email came from her account. My wife's. She thought she broke me. She only revealed what was already dead. And now I know who I am without her. Finality isn't loud. It's a closed door that no longer needs a lock. And I never looked back. The fallout came fast. Ethan's wife filed for divorce within 2 days. His job asked him to step down, after the scandal reached the office gossip chain. His neighbors knew, his kids knew, everyone knew. As for her, my wife, she didn't see it coming. By the time the lawyers called, by the time she realized half the money was legally mine and the house was soon to be hers alone with nothing in it, she couldn't reach me anymore. I wasn't there when Ethan showed up at her door, his perfect life in ashes, looking for comfort she couldn't give. I wasn't there when she realized the friends she bragged to had all quietly taken my side. I was too busy changing the locks on the house she thought she'd keep, moving into a better one with my son. A place filled with light and silence and no ghosts of her perfume in the hallways. She texted once, weeks later, "How could you do this to me?" I stared at the message for a long time before deleting it. Because the thing about revenge is, it doesn't end with the first fire. It keeps burning, long after you've walked away. Weeks passed before she realized what I'd really done. The divorce settlement left her the house, yes, but not the savings, not the investments, not the accounts she didn't know I'd moved quietly into a trust for my son. My son, who bore another man's blood but carried only my name. Ethan's life had turned to ash. His wife took the kids, the house, the car. The firm he worked for deleted him like he never existed. He texted her once from a new number, something pathetic about starting over together. She didn't answer. He disappeared after that. But me? I was patient. When she finally tried to sell the house to fund her new life, she learned about the liens I'd placed on it. Perfectly legal, perfectly timed. She'd have to pay me to get rid of it. When she tried dating again, the photos and messages surfaced online, anonymously. Men swiped left. Doors closed. Invitations stopped coming. One by one, the bridges she thought she controlled burned down, and she never saw my hand on the match. The last time I saw her was at the custody hearing. She showed up late, hair unwashed, eyes hollow. The judge listened as she begged for more weekends with the boy who no longer asked for her. I didn't say much. I didn't need to. The court gave me full custody. Her visits were supervised. Outside the courthouse, she stopped me in the parking lot, rain soaking through her coat. "You ruined my life," she said, voice cracking. I looked at her for a long time before answering. No, I said. You did. Then I walked away, my son's small hand in mine, the rain washing everything behind us clean. I never saw her again. Betrayal destroys families. Honesty saves them. Trust but protect yourself. Love deeply, but don't be blind. Protect your emotional and financial well-being because betrayal often leaves more than heartbreak. It leaves consequences. Please like, share and subscribe for more stories. Thank you.